Hello and welcome to the fourth installment of your InDesign training recap video series. In this episode, we're going to be looking at how to create a custom color using your swatches panel, as well as how to apply that color to a geometric shape that we'll use in the toolbar. So let's get started. Okay, so for the first step in creating a custom color swatch, we need to come across to the swatches panel, which we have over here on the right-hand side on the toolbar. I'll just drag the tab for it there to bring it out and just drag it down from the lower right corner here so we can see all of the colors that are available. So in a new document, you'll basically have these default colors that we have sitting here in our swatches panel. At the bottom of this though, we do have three colors that are listed here. Now these have actually snuck in through that Word document that I imported earlier on. So I don't need any of these colors. So what I can do is delete them, and the way to do that is to select this one here. If I hold down Shift and select the bottom one, I can then come across to the lower right corner of my swatches panel here on the trash can, and I can delete the swatches. It will ask me what colors to replace them with. I'm just going to use black from the drop down available here. So I'll click OK on that, and we can see how that's updated in my document. Now I actually want to create my own custom swatch. So in order to do that, I go back to the swatches panel and I'm going to use the menu in the top right corner here for swatches. And the first option is to create a new color swatch. So I'll click on that one. So because this is a print document, I'm going to stick with CMYK color, and we can see from the color modes available here that I can use RGB color, as well as some of the other color books that we've got available, such as our Pantone swatches. But I'll stick with my CMYK here, which we also call process. And I'm going to plug in some values here for this particular color that I'm going to use. It's going to have 30% cyan and it will be 70% black. And we won't have any magenta or yellow. So you can get these values from your brand style guide, or you might just play around with the sliders yourself and mix up your own custom color. Now I can rename this color. We can see at the top here, it's naming it after the values that I've plugged in here, but I'm going to untick that name with color value button here, and I'll just call this one Holborn Gray. Now when I come across, I'm going to add it into the swatches panel. I want to make sure that I don't have the add to CC library ticked, because that's going to upload it into my Creative Cloud account, and I actually don't want to use this color across any other documents, so I'll leave it unticked. However, if you have colors that you commonly use, you may want to add this into your CC library by ticking it down here. So I'll hit the add button, and by doing that, we can see it's now added that swatch to the bottom of my swatches panel. I could have just hit done, and that would have taken me out of this window, and it would have also added the swatch at the bottom here. But I just wanted to demonstrate, if you need to create multiple colors, then you would hit the add button and then just continue to change these values here and then add them as with each new color. But I'll click done to come out of this, and I'm ready to now start using that swatch in a rectangle that will go behind my main heading up here. So in order to add that color into a rectangle, I need to come across to the rectangle tool that we use for blocks of color over here on the toolbar, my rectangle tool, and I'll select that. If I click and hold down, we can see I've also got the ellipse and polygon tool there. And then before I actually draw the rectangle, I'll just check the settings. I want to make sure that the color that I've just chosen is going to be used for the fill. And I can tell by looking at this swatches panel here that I do have that color sitting there in the fill, and I also have no color set there for the stroke, which is what I'm looking for. I can also see that up here in the control panel. Fill and no stroke. So I'm going to start from the very top of the page here, right on the bleed line there, and I'm just going to click and drag over the top of the heading here, and then just take it out to that size there. And I've now got my geometric shape there with its color applied. If I want to change or update the color, I just need to come across and make sure that the fill is sitting in front in my swatches panel here, and I can choose from the available swatches that I have there. Now at the moment, this rectangle is sitting in front of my text because it is the most recently drawn object on the page. And because of our stacking order, we know that anything that was drawn earlier will be sitting behind anything that was drawn more recently. So I'm going to send this rectangle behind the text just by coming across and right-clicking on the rectangle and going to my Arrange menu from there and choosing to send it to back, which will push it behind all objects on the page. And then I just need to update the color of the text, which I'll do by coming across and grabbing my type tool from here on the toolbar or hitting T on the keyboard. And I'll just drag across the text here, and once again coming across to my swatches panel, making sure that I've got the fill there sitting in front. We can see that it's currently black, but I'll click on paper here, and I don't want to add any outline color to this text. It's just the fill that I'm changing. And then I can just click off to the side there to see how that's looking. And that's all great. So I've pretty much completed this project. What I want to do next is have a look at how to export this file to send it off to the printer, do a bit of a pre-flight check to make sure there's no errors, and then also package up the file so that I can archive it, and at a later date, if I need to come back in to edit it, I can rest assured that I've got all of the images and fonts that I need to work on it again. Great, see you in the next video.